Bethesda. They're one of the most beloved and now hated studios in all of gaming. For many, that magic was first captured in the likes of Morrowind, Skyrim, and Fallout. But for me, the defining game of Bethesda was the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. So today, let's take a look back at one of the defining games of my childhood and see what made it so great. Back in 2006, this was the definition of next gen. And while today it's anything but, Oblivion marked an important moment in RPG history. It came off the backs of a game that saved an entire company, and would also be the game that would thrust a developer into even more stardom, putting them on the path and into a position to launch one of the biggest games of all time, Skyrim. And it's because of Skyrim's success that many people today forget and don't talk enough about the game that preceded it, Oblivion. It was a game that tapped into that primal essence of exploration and storytelling that Bethesda was founded on, and has some of the most interesting and baffling mechanics in the series. So much so that it's a tragedy more people aren't talking about what made this game so great, and whether or not it even holds up today. So recently, I decided to play the game on stream with you guys, which by the way, I do every weekend if you guys ever want to stop by, and I figured to try and figure out what made Oblivion a game I fell so in love with as a child. A game that started with you as a prisoner, locked away in their cell. This is bringing back so many memories. This was the first Elder Scrolls I ever played. I have to say, I really like the way Oblivion starts, man. You're just thrust into the sewers and you immediately get this screen. And honestly, even more than Skyrim, I feel like it's just more straightforward. And I don't know, it just gets you into the game really quick, right? I've always loved the art too, man. The art of Oblivion and like these backgrounds, I've always thought it was great. We're going with male because you degenerates, we're not doing female today. Race, I always like being Khajiits and like Argonians. I liked being the weird stuff. And also I know in Oblivion, this is kind of like, this was my first experience. So, you know, the Khajiit having better sneak skills or being able to breathe underwater as Argonians, things like that. I thought that was so cool as a kid, man. Because I hadn't really played any other RPGs that had a lot of different classes and races that you could play as, and dude, I thought it was great. Wood Elf was actually the first thing I ever played, so I was always really into the Wood Elves for some reason, maybe because I have a giant nose too, and like I just connected with them somehow. But I've always liked the Bosmer in you know, Elder Scrolls, so I think, hey man, I think we return back to our roots, you know. The first character I ever made in Oblivion was a Wood Elf mage. And I just went around and I basically just summoned monsters, Daedra all the time, and just tried to take everything out because I was too scared to fight anything on my own. It was a different time. Like, I feel like nowadays games try to have such like good looking characters. They don't let you really make these crazy ass things, but Oblivion was different, man. Oblivion was different. They really just let you go to town, man. And you guys got to remember, at the time, this was actually super next gen, right? Like, when this game came out, I remember it was like the best looking game I had ever played. And I know there was games that at the time even probably looked a little better. But like, when I was a kid, man, this was as good as it got, bro. I remember I sat in this character creator for like an hour, dude. And I was trying to make something that looked good. And in Oblivion, that's hard. My guy looks like two watermelons just got squished together. See, this is why Oblivion's so great, man. You know? Like, Skyrim's got a special place in my heart, dude. Some of the systems are great. You know, Morrowind had these really, really deep systems too, and it was what started it all and saved the company. But Oblivion is this weird middle point that nobody talks about, that had the charm of Morrowind, but also with the more modern systems that, you know, obviously Skyrim expanded upon. It's almost like the perfect mix, actually. It's a great game to go back to because it really just gives you an idea of what kind of monster... What kind of, dude, my guy looks like a hammerhead shark. This is Chad Chatterton, chat. This is our man. I think we're gonna have a great playthrough here. There is something about playing your first Bethesda game of all time, man, where you can like pick up the cups, right? and like hit things. I actually don't know how to fire. Like the world was so interactable for the time. I don't think people understand how ahead of the curve Bethesda was in a lot of ways. Like in all other RPGs at the time, not all, but most, right? Like things in the environment were just kind of placeholders, but in Bethesda games, they were like actually there. Like you could pick them up, you could punch them, you could throw things around, right? You could sit down on barred stools.
Door. Over by the window.
Dude,
now.
This was such an impactful start when I was a kid, man.
Good, let's go. We're not out of this yet.
Like the game really just gets started more than any other Bethesda game.
You. Let me see your face. You are the one from my dreams.
Yeah,
Then the stars were right.
It's concerning.
And this
guy
is the day. Gods give me strength.
Dude, this was the thing, dude, but Oblivion has such an impactful beginning. It's hard to explain, because I would say Fallout 3 has like the most iconic start to a Bethesda game in a lot of ways, right? But dude, something about Oblivion, like it just gets started, man. Like you're literally talking to Uriel Septim, bro, like the Grand Emperor. Like right off rip. Like he just walks down, he breaks into your cell, and you got to realize, when I was a kid, man, and if you were playing this game for the first time, you know, back when it came out in 2006, this was just, it was hype, man. Like it was so hype. And I mean, you know, the funny thing people always look back on now is the faces, right? That's one of the defining characteristics of Oblivion. For anyone that doesn't know, they only had like, I don't remember how many, but it was really small. They had like 6 or 8 voice actors. So as you're playing through the game, you're hearing the same voices on, like, basically, for example, Dark Elves all have the same voice, right? Bretons all have the same voice. And the faces all look horrible. They all look like Play-Doh, but it still has that charm, man. I don't know. You guys got to remember, back in the day, this was like next gen.
Assassins attacked my sons, and I am next.
Another thing Oblivion did that I thought was really cool, man, is I thought the torch mechanics in Oblivion were really, really awesome. So to kind of give you guys like an idea of that, so if we press tab and say hello to our absolute gentleman, our absolute lad of a man, I always thought this is interesting. I always thought that Oblivion's kind of inventory system and art style fit the game so much better, man. You know what I mean? So like seeing like your health bar down here and your weapon type and your spell. So for example, I have healing right now, and the compass. I always thought it just really fit the theme of the game really well. And then, you know, as you guys can see here, there's a bunch of different skills in Oblivion, right? There's armor, athletics, blade, etc., etc. And just like in Skyrim, as you use different weapons or as you run, you level up athletics. And so by doing things, you level things up, right? And so I feel like a lot of people think that started in Skyrim, but actually Oblivion had a lot of that too. I know that's kind of like an Elder Scrolls staple. But, okay, so let's see if we can switch our weapon. I can kind of show you guys what I mean. So, for example, here we have a katana. So let's equip that in, you know, the right hand. But you can actually dual wield, you know, just like you can in most Elder Scrolls. So if we put a torch in the other hand, that's going to solve our issue of not being able to see anything. So now we're looking good, guys. I got to say, too, as someone who hasn't played Oblivion in a long, long time, man, the combat so far, even with just the punching the rats and swinging the sword, it's actually a lot more fluid than you would think. It holds up way better than you would suspect. If you go back and play Morrowind, for example, when you slice and try to hit something, sometimes you'll connect, but the game just has, you know, it's very like old school RPG. So sometimes you'll hit, but it doesn't actually hit. But that doesn't happen in Oblivion, right? That's not a thing that occurs. We also missed the part where they go through this little side entrance. They're actually like way ahead of me now, but that's okay. You know, we're taking our time here, chat, just enjoying ourselves. But here's one of the things about Oblivion, man. Let me massacre this rat. So Oblivion's a game that has so many good things and so many bad things. And let me kind of explain myself a little bit, right? So, for example, right now, this zone's really cool, right? It's very ominous. When you kill the rat, dude, you can see its body move and the blood splattered everywhere, right? It's fun. But the problem is, man, what you guys don't know and what you're not going to see in this short video is the more you play the game, man, the more you realize pretty much everything is the same. And what I mean by that is, if you look at this room, we're going to be going throughout the entirety of Oblivion. You're going to go through, like, pretty much almost every underground dungeon looks pretty much exactly like this. And it was one of the biggest downsides of the game, you know, back in the day. And it's one of the reasons I think a lot of people prefer Skyrim to Oblivion. Just there's a lot more variety in the zones and underground chasms and things like that. But Oblivion has a charm, dude, I feel like the other games just don't really get. So this is lockpicking. I prefer lockpicking in the previous games. I actually don't even know how to do this on keyboard and mouse. I am just moving my mouse up and down and things are happening. But it was kind of a cool system, right? I did like this at the time. I'm actually not sure how to do this on keyboard and mouse. I probably should have listened to the tutorial, but hey, boys, you know, you do what you can. But yeah, lockpicking, you know, that's always been a staple, too, of, you know, the Elder Scrolls games. And I think in Oblivion it was done well. I do prefer, you know, the Fallout and Skyrim approaches, but, you know, it's good to see them improving as well. And like I said, dude, one of the things I'm most surprised by right now is this game actually plays very well. I know people always talk about how the Oblivion combat's very weak, but, I mean, I gotta keep it real, man. And so far, you know, obviously I have rose-tinted glasses from playing as a kid, but if anything, this feels just as good as Skyrim. It might be because I'm using the katana, and killing rats just never gets old, but, yeah. Another thing, too, is the ragdolling in Oblivion is so good, bro. I feel like it makes the game so much better. Dude, that zombie. Holy shit. Dude, this guy is. Holy fuck. Yo, this rat's crazy. God damn, bro. Okay, let's see if we can do a sneak attack, dude. We ain't taking this guy without it. Ooh. Oh, boys. Clinical. Oblivion has a feel the other Elder Scrolls games never really hit, man. Something about this game, and it's hard to even explain without playing it yourself. Even if you're watching right now, there's something about Oblivion. It's the ambiance, man, the music in the background. For anyone that doesn't know, Jeremy Soule actually composed Oblivion soundtrack. For anyone that doesn't know, Jeremy Soule also did Skyrim. He was like the main composer for Bethesda. Recently, he actually got canceled, you know, for a lot of bad reasons. And you know, regardless of whether or not you like that guy, I think he really did make some of the best music, video game music of all time. And I personally think that Oblivion has the best music in the entire Elder Scrolls series. When I'm listening to ambient music, making YouTube videos, or when I'm at work, if I'm listening to Elder Scrolls, it's usually Oblivion. I think Skyrim has some good stuff. I think Morrowind has some really cool stuff too. But the one that just is banger after banger is Oblivion, man. And I've spoken about this at length. I think music in games is super, super important for, you know, making the player feel and setting the mood. And Oblivion, more than any other Elder Scrolls, really, really nails that. And you guys will see that when we get to the overworld, too. It just gets crazy. Also, this katana is absolutely cracked. I'm actually not using any mods right now. I wanted to play a clean vanilla version of Oblivion, just because, you know, that was what I played as a kid. And I originally played on my Xbox 360, and, you know, I wanted to get to as close as that as possible. Because obviously this game can be greatly enhanced with mods and things like that, too. But, you know, I think for the purposes of the video, it makes more sense to kind of just go for the basics, right? And show you guys what the game really has to offer. Another thing, too, dude, is Oblivion just, you know, like all the Elder Scrolls games have, is the thing that makes a Bethesda game so magic, man, is that sense that you can just come over and pick up anything. Like the fact that you can interact with these stink horns or these mushrooms, man. I know it's such a small thing and, like, doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but that's, like, what makes Bethesda games so special, man. Those interactions, the fact that I can pick up dead rats and watch them ragdoll everywhere. I mentioned it earlier, but I think the ragdolling in Oblivion is actually way better than Skyrim. It's way funnier. Like Oblivion, just it's one of those games that it has so many faults, like the facial animations, a lot of jankiness, a lot of Bethesda stink, a lot of issues, a lot of glitches. But it has so much charm, man. Like if you're in the mood for it, it's one of those games, if you're just looking to have fun and you'll laugh at the bugs and things. Oblivion's so good, man. This guy's done for. Let's go, boys. Yo, look at this, dude. This guy's about to absolutely clap some cheeks, baby. All right? You know what that is right there, chat? That right there is death, okay? All right? If you're a troll and you see this shit, you're done for, bro. All right? Dude, this is the face of pain. All right? Oh, my God, dude. What a Chad Chatterton. You legend, bro. Watch this, boys. I'm going to one-tap this guy. Oh, fuck! Hey, we're good. We're good. I gotta say, first impressions, man, it's just as good as I remember, man. These moments in the beginning of Oblivion, I've played them so many times when I was in middle school. It is etched into my brain, man. This is one complaint I have about Oblivion. The story kind of, and a lot of people have this complaint, but the story kind of picks up so quickly. Like, I love the idea of you being in prison and then you find a secret door and escaping. But the issue is this is where the game kind of takes a turn story-wise, at least main story-wise for me, and kind of steps down a peg. They like immediately throw you into like the Emperor, you're the chosen one. I prefer stories where you kind of have to like, you know, work your way up. So I actually don't like this that much, and I always had that issue with Oblivion. Even as a kid, I never really liked the main story that much. I always played for the side quests and the great, like, writing and interesting, you know, side quests and side things and just exploring the world. The main quest, I always was, I don't know.
Close shut the jaws of Oblivion.
So see, this is my biggest problem with Oblivion, bro. First of all, why did the Emperor take one hit? Huge pussy, am I right? Second of all, dude, one of my big issues with this game, dude, is that main story. Like, that was so cheesy. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. See, the issue is, man, you can tell the writers didn't know how to start the game, and they were like, yo, how about, like, we just say fuck it. And, like, he just dies, and, like think about that, man. The Emperor finds you. And within 5 minutes, you're just killing everything. And then he's just like, hey, yo, bud, how about you're actually the chosen one? And, like, this is why our paths are destined. And don't get me wrong. I mean, that's a fantasy trope and all. But I just feel like the intro of Oblivion could have been so much better written. I really do enjoy the intro. I enjoy going through the sewers. I enjoy learning the ropes. And I enjoy the idea of being a prisoner and finding a secret hatch. I love all that. Love all that. But the actual writing, man, I always think Bethesda writing's kind of been maybe one of their points they could use a little work on. I think they make amazing worlds, and the writing behind the world, man, and the factions and the history and the lore of what makes these games great is so fantastic. So fantastic. I think the things like the Dwemer, man, the Falmer and Skyrim, like, there are so many amazing stories in these games, but the actual moment-to-moment questing, especially the main quest in Oblivion, it's very cheesy, man. It's very on the nose. Ironically, though, Oblivion has some of the best side quests in the entire Elder Scrolls series, man. Like, there are side quests where you have towns that, like, believe in these weird underground deities that are forcing them to kill and kidnap people, and you have to come, you know, figure out the secrets of the world. And there's another quest where you go into a man's demented dreams, and it's just, like, dark, and there's monsters everywhere, and you read his journal about how he's going crazy and falling in love with the madness of himself. Like, there's some amazing moments in Oblivion, but it's all side quests, right? And that's another reason I actually like Oblivion, because, like I said, I think Bethesda's always been weak on the writing side, but Oblivion, the quests, man, especially the Dark Brotherhood quest line, or like the Thieves Guild also had a very good quest line. It's amazing, man. There's some really, really amazing big quest lines in this game that I don't think Skyrim ever matches. I personally, I don't think Morrowind had that. From what I've, you know, experienced, it didn't have as many amazing quests like that. I didn't personally like them. It had great mechanics, though. But that's what's so special about Oblivion, man. They're those side quests and you know, join the Dark Brotherhood and things like that. It's a really, really great feature, and I don't know why Skyrim and you know, the preceding games didn't have this, but it's really fun to create your own class too, right? Or you can just pick from one of the pre-made ones, but it adds to that sense of role-playing I was talking about, right? Because you can make your own class with its own backstory, your own name, some crazy face, your own story, and that's also why I like how Bethesda starts their Elder Scrolls games, right? Where you're a prisoner and you're kind of unknown and no one knows about you, because you can create this entire backstory, right? That makes the games really fun, in my personal opinion.
Honor in the halls of the blades.
Wait, he's not about to take my sword, is he? Oh, motherfuck! Oh, hell nah! Oh, nah, not like this. No, you don't take my sword, bud. You don't take my sword. Don't make me. I want that sword back. I want that sword. Okay. Hey, wait. Let's talk this out. Let's talk this out, man. Okay, hey, man. Okay, I wanted the sword. You just took my sword. Why am I the bad guy? Come on, dick. No, that's my sword. Dude, bro, I just killed the guy that killed the Emperor. It's one of those things that Oblivion really could have improved on, and it kind of shows that Bethesda really was a smaller team at the time, right? They just didn't have the manpower to devote to, you know, constantly creating different environments. They had to make do with what they had, and I think it's a great kind of point, though, that you don't need a giant team. You don't need tons of different environments, man. If your core gameplay and the things you have in your game are interesting to the player, they're gonna keep playing, right? Even if things are very samey. If you have a world that's worth being a part of and really good environmental storytelling, I know you guys mentioned that earlier, right? Bethesda's kind of staple is environmental storytelling, and I think in Oblivion it's actually not nearly as good as things like Skyrim and Fallout. That's actually a big downside I think Oblivion had compared to others. But I could be wrong there, right? Maybe as I play more, I'll correct that. So this is my favorite part of all of Oblivion. This is the moment that I fell in love with the Elder Scrolls, man. When I was a kid, Oblivion was the first game I ever played from Bethesda, and this moment right here is exactly when I fell in fucking love with these games, man. Listen to the music. Just listen to the music, man. And I know the graphics, you know, nowadays people would be like, that just looks like a big blob, but you guys have to realize, man, as a kid, this was next gen, this was cutting edge. Coming out and hearing that Jeremy Soule music just hit so hard, and the birds chirping, dude, and you have butterflies, and you step out, dude, and you just don't even know where to go. You look around, man, you're like, what is this? You know, you're like, where am I? And then obviously, you know, they obviously designed the game where you're supposed to come over here first, right? So we'll hop over there. You know, and then realizing you can swim underwater. There were just so many great moments, you know, in this game, and this was the epitome of that, man. Like, coming out of the sewers in Oblivion, no moment in a Bethesda game will ever hit harder for me than that, probably. I know a lot of people prefer Fallout 3 and you know, Morrowind coming off the boat, and Skyrim, you know, that was their first game, but everyone has their first Bethesda game, man. And for me, this was magical, man. Coming over here and then looking back and seeing this giant tower and just knowing, you know, I had this huge adventure in front of me, man. I didn't know what was next, right? It's such a powerful feeling, dude, that makes the Elder Scrolls so special, man. It's what makes Bethesda games amazing. Like that, like literally that moment right there was exactly it. Also, I would like to revise my statement that the combat in this game is good from earlier. It's passable. The combat in this game is very passable, to say the least. As you can see, the hitboxes are fine, but there's not much meat behind the combat, right? You kind of just slice and nothing happens until they die, but the ragdolls do improve that a lot, for sure. You guys probably noticed this is really barren, right? You know what? The environment of the main zone you come out to. Okay, crap. I'm trying to have a sentimental moment here. Okay, Dick. The kind of scenery you come out to, it reminds me most of, weirdly enough, Fallout New Vegas. And I don't like it in Fallout New Vegas. I think the world building in the actual world of Fallout New Vegas isn't as good as 3 or 4 Fallout, right? But something about Oblivion, dude, like there's these big, wide open plains, man. You guys can see it loading in the background. I could have gotten mods to fix that, but like I said, I wanted to show you guys the vanilla kind of version of this game, right? There's a lot of pop-in because, you know, the engine was more archaic. But there's so many giant rolling hills, man. There's so many big vistas. Like even in Skyrim, I know you can, there's some big areas, but there's something about Oblivion, man. Like, you look in all directions, and it's just a vast, wide, open zone, man. And one of the things is, I know it's not as dense as other games. So in Skyrim, there's a lot more like tree foliage and a lot more going on and a lot more people walking around. But one thing that Oblivion actually has an advantage in, because it's so sparse, is things really stand out, right? So, like, for example, this tower, that stands out like a sore thumb. These stand out. But even things like this, right? Like this little temple thing over here, right, where there's a door, that stands out a lot. And a big reason for that, right, is because it's just very barren. And when I think when people watch others play the game, they kind of go, oh, this doesn't look as good. Like, this looks like a shitty version of Skyrim, right? There's not as many trees. There's not as much stuff going on. Like, it doesn't look as realistic. But there's a magic in this game, dude, that is so hard to explain. And that music. Like here, I'll stop talking. Just listen to the music for a second, dude. Listen to the breeze, the birds, the sounds of my feet as I walk. Like, there is something so special about this game, man. And it's funny because I feel like Todd Howard and the Bethesda team, nowadays they always talk about how if you see that mountain, you can go there, right? And that's true, man, especially in like Skyrim and Fallout, but there's something about Oblivion, and I can't even put my finger on it. I'd have to think about it more, but there's something about it where it beckons you more, bro. I don't know. Like, it really does. It really beckons you more when you hear the music and you look at this mountain. When I look at this mountain, for some reason, it's like calling my name more than, you know, say Skyrim. And I don't know what it is, but it might be my nostalgia speaking. Don't get me wrong. I played this game as a kid, so even hearing this music, dude, just brings in that swell of emotion of like, damn, bro, I remember coming home from school every day and hopping on this game. I take it back. Oblivion is the worst game I've ever played. It's actually the worst Elder Scrolls. Literally everything about this game is trash. So buggy, so shit. Skyrim was actually better in every single way. And in fact, Morrowind was actually better in every single way. And it came out before, which is just fucking sad. It's actually crazy that Bethesda even thought this was an acceptable game at the time. This whole thing's been a cap, Chad. This is the worst game I've ever played in my life. I genuinely hate it. Bethesda actually sucks. You know, Fallout 76 wasn't, this is their Fallout 76 of 2006. This is just, you know, from like Skyrim and Fallout, but honestly, I don't know if Bethesda has made a town since Oblivion as good as this, man. I don't know, man. Like, listen to that music when you first come in here. And just like you're slowly walking up, like, look at this, man. I can't name one city in Skyrim that evokes this same feeling I have walking into here, man. In the main city of Skyrim, or of Oblivion, sorry. Like, the music, man. The commotion in the streets so you can hear people talking. These giant, massive just buildings and statues and multiple, look at all these different inns. They're very clearly labeled. I know in games like Skyrim, right, the towns are a little more bustling, there's more people, there's more, like, it's more interconnected, right, but there's something that's so special about the simplicity, dude, of this, you know? Like look at that, dude. There's like some back alleys, but look at this. Every single door has like a big sign to make it really clear what it is. Like here we have the Fighter's Chance, right, which I can get some weapons at. The Merchant's Inn, which I can go get a bed to sleep in, or I can get some, you know, food. We have this is a personal favorite of mine, man. This is bringing back memories. I was a mage, right, on my first playthroughs as a kid, and Wood Elf Mage, man, and I always would come to Rindir's staffs, man. That's where I got my best staff, and I know there's a lot better staffs in the game, but, you know, as a kid, I didn't know, man. You got to remember, when I was a kid, dude, we didn't go online. There wasn't YouTube videos every day of people saying, this is the best staff in the game, this is how you get the best staff, this is where you go to get the best staff. It was literally like, you just didn't know, man. That's another thing I love about Oblivion is, it's kind of hearkening back to a time long past, man, when not every single thing was in a video and not everything was discovered, and you kind of played for yourself, man. And hey, could you shut up, bro? I'm talking here. And everything was okay, dude. You need to good afternoon, sir. Can you okay, get out of here. Don't give me that look, bud. Okay? Hey, come on, bro. Oh, Jesus Christ. But it just harkened back to a different time, man, you know, where you got to enjoy the game for yourself. And
how goes it?
I mean, dude, if you follow me around, I swear to God, like, it was just so interesting, man, because when I was a kid, dude, I didn't know any of the mechanics of this game. I didn't know how it worked, man. I just ran around and had fun. Like, I remember as a kid, dude, I didn't even know that the Dark Brotherhood was a thing until I had been playing for like 200 hours. Like, bro, I discovered the Dark Brotherhood by accidentally killing someone, and then I just went to bed, and then I woke up, and this guy in a hood is like, yo, you killed someone. Time to join our secret society. Do you know how fucking cool that is, bro? Do you know how cool that is? Like, as a kid experiencing that. And it's still cool today, don't get me wrong. But nowadays, bro, what would happen is there would be like a trailer that would be like the Dark Brotherhood in Hammerfell, Elder Scrolls 6. And it would like show you exactly what they're like and where their lair is. And then you would find 13 YouTube videos that were like, oh, this is how you join the Dark Brotherhood in the Elder Scrolls 6 Hammerfell. Like, it was just a special time, man, where it felt like an adventure, bro. And no games are better in that sense than Bethesda games, man, with that environmental storytelling, the music, bro, like the way they design their worlds. Do they have a lot of jank? Yeah, 100%, man. Is there a lot of issues with the games? 100%. But maybe more than any Elder Scrolls game, man, and maybe more than the Fallouts, dude, Oblivion has... I don't know how much of this is nostalgia, man. But I gotta say, even playing this right now, bro, a decade later since I last played, every memory is coming back, man. When I play Skyrim, I don't feel like this. I think it's a great game. I enjoy it. But I just don't get this feeling, man. And I know it's nostalgia in a lot of ways because I was a kid, but like, just look at this, man. It's so simple, but I don't know. I don't know. Do you guys know what I'm saying? You guys probably like Oblivion too. There's an essence about Bethesda games, man, that's really hard to explain to someone that hasn't played them. There's a reason. There's something more special to the games than the quests or the items or the gunplay or the sword play. Like, it's hard to explain to people that haven't experienced it before, but there truly is. Whoa, who is this guy? It's the moments, man. It's the moments where you look out into the vista and the music swells and you see this weird chapel in the distance and you kind of want to go see it. It's those moments that make these games so great. And the reason I love Oblivion more than anything, man, and the best way to put it into words why Oblivion is so special compared to Morrowind, compared to Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, all those things, even New Vegas, all those games, right, is I don't think Bethesda's made a game that hit that core thing in your heart, that like of adventure than Oblivion. And I can't explain it. And that might be my nostalgia speaking. I think for a lot of people that game might be Skyrim, that game might be Morrowind, and that makes total sense to me. But for me, man, hearing the breeze, dude, the water like rush against the sides, the music swell, and looking out into this huge world that's so barren but so full at the same time, with so many secrets and mysteries around every corner. Like, this is the game that shows what the Bethesda formula is more than any other game, man. Like, Morrowind was cool and it was unique. Skyrim was very, very ahead of its time, one of the greatest RPGs of all time, one of the most loved too. But no game shows the Bethesda formula better than Oblivion, man. Like, no, like, this is the game that made me want to play every other game that Bethesda had. When I finished Skyrim, I didn't really want to go play Fallout 4. I was like, oh, I'll go try it out soon. Right? When I finished, like, or when I'd never finished Morrowind. When I played Morrowind, it was like, I'm having a good time, but it's whatever. It's a little old now. You know, I'm not quite connecting. But Oblivion, man, even though it's almost 2 decades old now, like, it's something is there. And I don't know if that's nostalgia, man. I don't know. Because like I said, I played this was my first Bethesda game as a kid. This is one of the 3 games that made me fall in love with gaming. But I don't know, man. I don't know if it's nostalgia. I think part of it is, but I think truly part of it is there's a weird, ephemeral, ethereal essence to this game that you can't even explain, that kind of pulls it together. I highly recommend you guys give this game a shot if you haven't before. It's jank but it has soul. Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it, Forbidden. It has a soul. Like, more than any of the other Elder Scrolls games, this game feels like it has a soul. Like, Morrowind feels like a company that was just having fun and made an amazing game. Skyrim feels like a vision come true, but Oblivion just feels like the studio's soul came out, you know? So now he lets me in, but I think you have to solve a puzzle to get into the actual realm, if I remember correctly. Oh, wait, am I stuck? Oh, here we go. So, God, man. This is what, dude, it's moments like this that make Oblivion so damn special, man. You know, a big complaint of Oblivion when it first came out was it didn't have those magic, like, alien world moments of Morrowind. And I think they really answered that with, you know, the Shivering Isles DLC. And there's something about this world, man. Hopefully you guys are starting to understand now. There is something about this world that is so special. I think even in comparison to all the other Elder Scrolls, all the Fallouts, the sounds, the music, just, and the world, man, and the differences, you know, we've got little will-o-wisps flying around. You can hear the sounds of the night. And I know it's a part of all Bethesda games, but I truly believe this. I know we spoke to it earlier, but there is something about this game that is so special, and it hits on that soul that in recent games Bethesda's lost a little bit, right? Like, I love Fallout 4. In fact, I've been playing off stream a bunch and I'm enjoying it, but it does feel like it lost a little bit of the soul, man. I don't know. It's hard to explain, right? And Oblivion just has it in spades. one of the most impressive parts I think about this whole thing is you guys got to keep in mind, I mean, this is from 2006, like, you know, and that's really old. That's really, really old for a game. So for it to look as good as it does with no mods, there's no mods right now, chat. I don't have any mods, nothing. You know, obviously I'm at a higher resolution than the game actually originally shipped with, but because I'm playing on my PC, but you know, and the PC version is going to be a little more, you know, a little better than it was on the 360 when it drops, but it holds up, man. It really, really holds up, bro. It's a beautiful game. It's so simple. Like I was saying earlier, the environments aren't as involved, but it is what it is. Oh, we ain't fighting this guy. I don't think this shit's happening, boys. Let's get in there, baby. Why do I feel like this guy's going to one-shot me? Oh, God. Oh, God. Not like this. Nope, nope, nope. The formidable gatekeeper has destroyed a party of adventurers. I should talk to the residents of Passwell before trying to deal with this creature. Yeah, so see, that's a problem, dude. I don't know if I'm behind enough level to actually take this guy on. But, I mean, you guys get the point, right? As you make your way further into the Shivering Isles, things get crazier and crazier. But I think more than anything, man, the Shivering Isles is just a perfect look at what made Oblivion so good, man. I mean, honestly, a lot of it was nostalgia for me. You guys have to keep in mind with everything I've been saying, you know, on the stream and now video you guys are watching. Oblivion will always hold a special place in my heart, man, because it was the first Bethesda game I played. It was the first Bethesda moment I had stepping out of the sewers. It was the first time I really got into a more hardcore RPG, right? I mean, there's obviously now I've played things like Planescape Torment and a lot of other, you know, Wasteland things that are more hardcore, but it just has a special essence to it, man. There's no other game like Oblivion out there. Bethesda never made another game like Oblivion. It was a special moment in their history, man, where the company had just been saved by Morrowind, and now on the heels of that, they got to create kind of, in a lot of ways, their magnum opus, right? They went with Oblivion, and then Fallout 3, and then Skyrim eventually, and you know, this game was like I was saying before, man. It's a look back at a more simple time in video games, but also a look into a game that was forward-looking into the future too, right? And so many things from Oblivion have carried over into other RPGs, and it really, really defined an entire genre. I think that's for a reason, man. I think this game's really special in a lot of ways, and for me, a lot of that's going to be nostalgia. I think a lot of you guys could maybe play and be like, hey, man, I prefer Skyrim, or I played Morrowind as a kid, and like that's what I like. That nothing will beat Morrowind, right? And exploring that world and the beauty there. But dude, more than anything though, I truly believe Oblivion is the most Bethesda game there is. You know, because Morrowind was a blip in time. Skyrim was their peak. Fallout 4 is trying new things. But when I think of Bethesda, when I think of what made them great, when I think of what made people fall in love with this studio, I think of everything that Oblivion stands for. 100%. It has a richness, a character, a soul to it that almost no other game can, dude. And for all its faults, man, there are literally like 6 voice actors. The facial animations are horrid. The facial animations make Mass Effect Andromeda look like a goddamn like a Picasso painting. I guess Picasso paintings might look kind of weird too, but it's I don't know, man. And it had horse armor. Great point. Horse armor, which was the actual greatest DLC of all time. I know I was talking all this nice stuff about Shivering Isles. Horse armor is where it's at. But dude, even that, man, like Oblivion was just like a moment in history, bro. Like Oblivion was the type of game where if you played as a kid like me, you fell in love with games, full stop. You fell in love with games, full stop, and you played every Bethesda game after that, man. You went and you played Fallout 3 when it came out. You went back and you played Morrowind. Then you played Skyrim day one. Then you played Fallout 4 day one, you know? Like you pretty much became a fan for life. Because pretty much no other studios make games like this, man. And the best way to put it, dude, is what I just said. Every studio tries to make games like Bethesda, but you can't. Because it's not about, dude, it's not even about the exploration. It is, but and it's not about the quests, and it's about everything, dude. It's about how the music and environmental storytelling all comes together, and like it's the soul, dude. And this game is the perfect example of the soul of Bethesda. 100% full stop. Like, all the games are great, but this one is special. And it sucks because almost no one talks about this game, man. Because Skyrim, right, is the biggest Elder Scrolls. That's the game that took Bethesda to the mainstream. They were mainstream before, but that took them to the next level. That game sold like crazy. Fallout 4 was a big hit as well. Fallout 3 was a revolution. Morrowind was a game that made everyone fall in love with the studio because it was a great RPG at the time. And know what? No one talks about Oblivion, man. Because Oblivion sandwiched between Morrowind, a lot of people's like favorite game of all time, and Skyrim, one of the biggest games of all time. So no one talks about this, man. This is like the Elder Scrolls game everyone forgot about, you know. Besides Daggerfall, obviously, and stuff, but and Arena, but this is the one. This is like the modern day Elder Scrolls everyone forgot about, bro. But in a lot of ways, it's kind of the best one. I don't know, man. In a lot of ways, this is the penultimate experience, man. And that's why I'm so excited for Starfield, because I know Bethesda's been talking about how they've been looking back at Oblivion specifically for a lot of its systems and world design and feel that they're going for with Starfield. And I hope to God, man. I hope to God if I can get this soul, but in a space RPG, that might be my favorite game ever. So, man, I don't know. That was fantastic though, guys. I'd love to stream this with you guys more. I need to go start working on the video because ideally I'd love to get it out this week. Let's say bye to our strapping young lad here. But yeah, man, it's a really, really special game, dude. I really, really enjoy Oblivion, if you guys can't tell. Thank you guys so much for coming in too. It sounds like you guys really, really enjoy Oblivion too, man. I truly do believe this is the secret unknown best Elder Scrolls. Not unknown, but it's the one that doesn't get enough love, and it's the one that should. And I know it's because it has so many faults. I know the environments are the same. I know all the voice actors are the same. I know you can tell it was Bethesda before Skyrim and all their improvements. There's a lot of jankiness, dude. There's a lot of bugs, a lot of weirdness. But it has that soul, man. It has that soul. So I don't know. I really appreciate you guys coming in. Thank you so much. It means the world to me, man. I'm going to try and make a video out of this. I think it went fantastic today. I had an absolute amazing time. Thank you for loving my character, by the way, chat. But I had an absolutely amazing time. This is the first time I'm trying something like this where I'm actually playing on stream with you guys, and then after I'm going to make a video based on it. Well, still with my same hype intros and things like that. But we'll see how it goes, man. Maybe everyone watching on YouTube, maybe you guys will love it. Maybe you'll be like, I prefer the other style. But regardless, this was super, super awesome, guys. I really, really appreciate it.